Everybody, it's Mama Soul Doc, Dr. Maya Alapin. I'm not a medical doctor or a mental health care practitioner. So, what's the quickest way to get to the root cause of a problem? Well, before I explain that, we just need to talk for a little bit about problems in general. So, problems are kind of like knots, like in a sweater or yarn when knots fit together. And the whole thing altogether is what the problem feels like to the client or to the person who has the problem. So, how do we unravel that? How do we get to the bottom of it, so to speak? So, one thing we need to do is start by just differentiating that from healing the symptom. So, we're not going to go at problems by going from the outside in, like with a coping mechanism, with some kind of practice to do. Because what we're looking for as hypnotists is to solve the problem at a deeper, more interior level, like ultimately where the problem was generated or where it starts or where it comes from, so to speak, because I don't know that we can say where it starts. And so, what's the fastest way to get there? Well, the conventional answer would be to figure out where that problem is. Like, is it a inner child problem? Is it a, trauma problem from childhood? Is it something that we can diagnose? And that is it a behavioral issue? Is it an addiction issue? And then based on all of these, data points, we come up with a method. And of course, you'll notice that each method has implied in using the method what the person who develops it thinks the root causes are. So, like regression is a method that's used for people who think that root causes all come from a childhood past memory, or inner child healing, same idea, or internal family systems. You would look at the family dynamics. And so you can go through all of the kind of available modalities and figure out what they think the root causes are. And I'm not saying they're wrong because a lot of the time it works just fine and quite well. What I'm saying though is in my method, in the conversational hypnosis approach that I'm using, what we're really interested in is what the client has to tell us about their root cause. Because the generation of a problem does not necessarily correspond to some kind of a linear or, easily explained or pinpointable, so to speak, cause. So as the question and answer progresses and as the fractionation deepens and increases, the client has more and more opportunity to seek that information in themselves as to what the cause of the problem really is. That's exactly why it's so fast, because I'm not saying use this, ladder to get to this place. I'm not directing the client as to where the problem lives, so to speak. I'm not imposing some kind of expectation on them. Instead, I'm merely following and unraveling with them their own perception and their own understanding of root cause. And that's the easiest way out of the problem and the fastest and the most accurate also and permanent because only the client knows how they themselves got there and only they know how to exit. And anytime that I say I know, I'm just assuming that everybody's the same. But that's not true. Everybody's not the same. Take two people who have anxiety. What's to say that they have anxiety for the same reason? There's no way. It's just not how it works. Two smokers, they don't smoke for the same reason. To anything, people who are afraid of needles, they have different reasons for that. And what has happened to each person in their life has either encouraged or solidified that fear or, created some other problems or whatever. So the problem exists for whatever reason it does for person A and person B. And then whatever happens in each person's life also has a lot to do with what their problem means to them, how it impacts them, and how to get out of it. So that's the short and fast answer is the fastest and easiest way out of a problem is through the client's understanding and answers to our um, hypnotic questions. That itself leads naturally and freely to the root cause without any kind of faking or imposed expectation of how, when, and under what conditions it emerges. So that's my aim always, is to create that opportunity and to create that experience so that we get there as fast as possible. The client's subconscious is much smarter than I am. So anything that I bring is not going to outdo them. So that's why I use this content-free method. So thanks for listening. You know who this is, Dr. Maya Alapin, Mama Soul Doc in Montreal, Quebec.